Hello guys, welcome to another session of surface chemistry. This session we will be talking about colloids. We will talk about how the different types of colloids are there and what are the different types based on different properties. Let's go through it. So colloids. Colloid is basically a heterogeneous system in which one substance is dispersed phase, okay, that is the phase, as very fine particles into another substance. That another substance is dispersion medium. Okay, so we have some particles which are present in a dispersion medium. So let's talk about colloids and true solution. So colloids are basically a single macromolecule or an aggregate of many atoms, ions or molecule. Okay, so that is a single macromolecule. So that is a single big molecule. True solution, the constituent particles are ions or small molecules. So remember that this is a bigger particle. This here is a very small particle. They are larger than the simple molecule, but small enough to remain suspended. So they are basically little bit bigger than the simple molecule, but they are large enough to stay. Small enough to stay suspended in the solution. Whereas true solution, the small molecular size. So their size is very small. Usually the colloid size particle is between 1 to 1000 nanometer. Please note down 1 to 1000 nanometer is the size of colloid particle. Okay, and true solution, the solute size is less than 1 nanometer. So this is the main difference between colloids and true solution. That is, colloids are actually 1 to 1000 nanometer of size. Okay, this is the diameter, and they are heterogeneous. These are homogeneous. Now let us look at the classification of colloids. Now, colloids can be classified on the basis of physical state of dispersed phase and dispersion medium, that is between liquid, solid and gases. Okay, then nature of interaction between dispersed phase and dispersion medium, or we can also categorize them on the basis of type of particles of dispersed phase. So let's go through one by one. So first one is classification based on physical state of dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Okay, so you can see these are the dispersed phases, that is solid, 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 then liquid and then gases. And then dispersion medium here is solid, liquid and gas. Okay, so if you see, dispersed phase is solid inside a solid medium, it is called as solid sol. Okay, so some of the examples are like glasses, gemstones and all. So that is like a solid inside a solid. Then solid inside a liquid is just known as sol. Okay, that is paints, cell fluids are example. Solid inside gas are known as aerosol. Okay, one of the typical example is smoke and dust. So smoke and dust are some solid particles which are present in air. Okay, liquid inside solid is known as gel. Example, cheese, butter, jellies. Liquid inside another liquid is emulsion, that is milk, hair cream are example. Liquid inside gas is aerosol, fog, mist, cloud, all these are examples. Also insecticide sprays, they are aerosol, that is liquid present inside gas. Gas inside solid is solid sol, example you can see. Okay, so rubber and all. Then gas inside liquid is foam, that is froth, whipped cream, soap, leather. So these are gases which are present inside liquid is foam. Okay, now notice that there is no gas. Basically when gas is present inside gas, that is a mixture, it's not a colloid. Okay, it's a mixture here. So the most common among them is sols, that is solids inside liquid. You can see solid present inside liquid. So if here the dispersion medium is water, like in liquid, the part of the liquid is case is water, so we call it aquasol, or sometimes we refer to it as hydrosol. And if the dispersion medium is alcohol, we call it alkosol. Okay, and gels are another important, so that is liquid inside solid, and emulsions are another important thing, that is liquid inside liquids. Now let's go through another type. So classification based on nature of interaction between dispersion phase and dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Okay, so on this there can be two types. One is lyophilic sol and the other is lyophobic. Okay, lyophilic simply means liquid loving. If it is the liquid is water, we will call it hydrophilic and hydrophobic. So here the solvent is attracting. Okay, so it is liquid loving, and lyophobic is liquid repelling, that is liquid hating. So it is formed by mixing, or you can remix them. Lyophobic salts can be prepared only by some special method. We will talk about these special methods in future sessions. Then lyophilic are actually reversible sol. You can reverse the process, and lyophobic are irreversible sols. Okay. They are quite stable and cannot be easily coagulated. Coagulation is a process when you combine them and they precipitate. Okay, they precipitate down, that is coagulation. So they are quite stable. So remember that lyophilic salts are quite stable and cannot be easily precipitated or coagulated. So lyophobic ones are requiring like they need stabilizing agent for their preservation. Okay, so some preservatives or some stabilizers are required to make them stable. Otherwise, they will precipitate out, lyophobic ones. Now, classification based on type of particle of dispersed phase, that is multimolecular, macromolecular, and associated colloid. So multimolecular colloid simply means that on dissolution a large number of atoms or smaller molecules of a substance aggregate together. That means they join together to form a species having a size in colloidal range. Colloidal range is 1 to 1000 nanometers. Okay, so when you dissolve a large number of atoms and molecule, they combine together to form a substance which is actually having the size in colloidal range. Example: sulfur sol contains particles containing 1000 or more S8 sulfur molecule. Okay, it is multimolecular because the final colloid particle is made up of a large number of atoms or molecules that are smaller in size. So that is multimolecular colloid. Now, macromolecular colloids. Macromolecular colloid are actually only one molecule is there which is having sufficient size, that is which is similar to that of the colloid size particle. Okay, basically the size of one molecule itself is between 1 to 1000 nanometers. Okay, so these are quite stable and they resemble true solution. Example of this natural example is starch, cellulose, proteins, enzymes. So these are some of the natural examples because they are like very long chain hydrocarbons. So they are having a very big size which may fall into the range of colloid size particle. Man-made, you can see polythene, nylon, polystyrene, synthetic rubber. So basically all these are polymers. Okay, so we'll study the polymers. We will talk about them in the future chapter. Okay. Next is associated colloid. Now, associated colloid are actually some substances which are having special property, that is at low concentration they behave as normal strong electrolytes. So basically they are electrolytes, but at higher concentration, when you increase the concentration, they exhibit a colloidal behavior. Why they are exhibiting colloidal behavior? That is due to the formation of aggregates. They simply add up to form a bigger particle that is also known as micelles. Okay, so the formation of micelles take place only above a particular temperature. That temperature is known as Kraft temperature. So you have to go above the Kraft temperature and a particular concentration, which is also referred as CMC, that is critical missile concentration. Only if these two conditions are satisfied, you get your associated colloids. On dilution, basically if you dilute them, what happens? These colloid revert back to the individual ions. So if you put more of the medium, then or if you dilute them, then they will revert back to the original condition. Now let us look into the mechanism of formation of missile. Okay, So this is a typical example of missile. That is, this is a soap molecule, single molecule. You can see there are long carbon chain and an ionic compound on the end. Basically, here this is CH3, CH2COONA. Okay, so this part is also, since it is negatively charged, can form hydrogen bonds. So this is hydrogen hydrophilic head. Okay, basically it is hydrogen loving. So hydrophilic or water loving actually. Okay, because it can form hydrogen bond. That's why hydrophilic. It loves water. Okay, so hydrophilic head is this part, and all this part, since it cannot form hydrogen bonds with water, okay, it is hydrophobic tail. Okay, that is of the stearate ion. So this ion is sodium stearate, that is your soap molecule. Okay, so you can represent this in zigzag manner. That is one way of representing our carbon compound. So zigzag line with a hydrophilic head. This all this part is the hydrophobic tail. Now, what happens, since when we put them inside an container when the concentration is quite low, the hydrophilic head is always inside water and the hydrophobic tail is away from water, because this part is water hating whereas this part here is water loving. Okay, so this is the typical shape. Now, when the concentration and temperature conditions are satisfied, that the temperature is above craft temperature and the concentration is above the CMC concentration, then they form such type of missile ion. Okay, so basically you can see that here this part is actually all with hydrophobic tail and everywhere else is the hydrophilic head. Okay, so this is your missile. Okay, now how does it form or how does it helps? Just to give you an idea, let's take the cleaning action of soap. Okay, let's say that this is the cloth here. Okay, this part here is the cloth and this is a grease on cloth, that is like a fatty acid you can say, or any dirt particle which is present on cloth. Now, since we add soap, what will happen? The hydrophobic part will enter inside and the hydrophilic part will remain on the top, and slowly more hydrophobic part will actually go inside and it will slowly come outside. So you can see that this has completely come outside, so they are actually forming missiles. Okay, so this stays suspended in water. So this is how the grease from the cloth is being removed with the help of soap. So that's it for this session. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Please remember this part, especially the last section where we were talking about the cleaning action of soap. Thank you.